Brazilian jerseys peppering throughout Rensselaer Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Brazil and Japan waiting to enter the field. Tournament of Nations. This essentially a knockout game. Either team dreaming of making a run toward the title in the second year of this tournament's existence to have those hopes dashed. They're unable to come away with at least a point, if not three on the day, as Japan, led by Aya Samashima, waiting to enter the field, coming off a disappointing 4-2 loss to their bitter rivals over these last 8 years, the United States, while Marta, on the right-hand side of your screen, perhaps the GOAT. Difficult to make arguments for others just how much she's brought in the CONMEBOL region to Brazil and to the world game. And out front, Ikeda making just her 13th start for the Japanese national team, a group that makes 6 changes to their starting lineup, one that she'll have to try and command without their star center backs and center midfielders of years past, in front of a crowd that's very much mixed. These two teams, by all means, wouldn't be imposters if they're to make a deep run in the World Cup in 2019 in France. But this may be one of those last chances to see the top level of competition before that happens. Fireworks firing off the field. Tournament of Nations, match day 2, game number 1. Japan and Brazil taking the field. all the pomp and circumstance of a major international event. Always seems to be the case when Japan and Brazil meet. Second time in as many years these two have gotten together through the Tournament of Nations, and both teams left empty-handed in the Tournament of Nations last year. Both well aware that they simply needed to be better and weren't. As Brazil, well, they lost a 3-1 lead to the United States. They scored early against Australia and then conceded 6 consecutive goals. And at the time, they never felt further away from that trophy. For Japan, simply empty-handed, best way to describe the disappointment of the West Coast swing that was the 2017 Tournament of Nations. While some may suggest that their minds have already drifted towards hosting the Olympics in Tokyo in 2020, they'll certainly have something to say at the World Cup. Not only have they qualified, but to go one step further, they're a team with expectations of making some kind of run. The referee for today's match, Katya Koroleva of the United States. 4 officials from the U.S., as often is the case when 2 foreign countries meet in a United States doubleheader. Oftentimes you'll see the best from pro referees make their way out for the match. Marta and Samashima trade pennants. And for Brazil, 7th in the FIFA World Rankings, and Vidal is their coach, 61 years old. He coached them from 2014 to 2016, returned in 2017 amid a bit of controversy. Emily Lima was sacked, but all in all, they had struggled a bit towards the end of last year, in particular against the Matildas. 4 losses in their last 16 games, and all have come to Australia, including last time out. Again, for Brazil, anything less than a draw or a win, a result in this match, leaves them perilously close to missing out on Tournament of Nations third match day championship implications. A proud footballing country, and one that, well, in 2016 were able to host the Olympics. Honor that will belong to Japan next. 6 changes to this Japanese lineup, one that had entered the Tournament of Nations on a 7-match unbeaten streak and watched it go up in smoke at the foot of Alex Morgan. As Asako Takakura sends out a 4-4-2 starting order. 79 caps for the Japanese national team leading up to 1999. And this chance to coach after the retirement of their longtime coach, Norio Sasaki, after they failed to qualify for those Rio Olympics. Marta, incredible run of form last year coming into the Orlando Pride in the National Women's Soccer League. This year has struggled to replicate similar form. Iwabuchi playing as well as anybody on the planet right now. The golden ball at the Asian Cup. Brazil in their trademark gold. It's the blue jerseys for Japan. And we're underway. Tournament of Nations, match day 2, game number 1. And this will fly away from Debinha. Plays her club ball for North Carolina Courage. The story of the National Women's Soccer League this year in the United States. Sugasawa. Sugasawa again. Overrun by Dayani. Skips by Debinha. And away from Momiki. 3 years spent in the USA, Momiki. Alini, one of the great stories. This Brazilian national team boots it away. Makes her 4th appearance for country in goal. As Japan will settle. Off of Hayani. And a throw to the Brazilians. Marta in pursuit. Ikeda kicks away her 13th international cap. It's the goalkeeper for Japan. Sugasawa taken away. Taisa was playing just south at Sky Blue FC. This is turned over and played along out of the reach of Sugasawa. Good work from Momiki. In truth, just not a good enough pass back. That's easy pickings for Momiki. Scored against both Australia and Brazil in the Tournament of Nations last year. Ball for Momiki, intercepted. Debinha palmed aside. That may have been off frame in the end regardless, but Ikeda showing well in her first opportunity. How many times have we seen Debinha in the United States top league, the NWSL, put shots like this not only on frame but into the upper corner? A wide open start, corner for Brazil. Ikeda gets the first punch on. Marta backward. Hasn't been very crisp from this Brazilian back line yet, now has it? Oh, falls well, Yokoyama. Too far for Iwabuchi to latch on. Well, Debinha, what a curl on that. And yes, it was spinning off frame. Anything even remotely a sniff. Something you have to be careful of. Her prodigious ability. Marta leads the charge. Able to swing it up the right-hand side. Hayani serving for Debinha. Bounces all the way through. Marta one-on-one. A defender's nightmare. Shimizu there defensively. The second corner for Brazil. It's a well-struck cross. Just found its way through three bodies. Hayani finding her way into the thick of things early. Corner for Brazil. Bounces down. Cleared away by Miura. Second ball lobbed in. Taisa. Well, Japan racing after this, headed away, and maybe a chance to lob now for Japan. And it's caught. Alini almost made a real mess of that. Japan really hitting home with their early pressure. Kunitaki. Sugasawa. Alini drives away. Yokoyama. Momiki. Cross field from Sumida. Touched aside, that's Hayani. Still more for Japan. It'll be a goal kick. Well, all kinds of danger from these horizontal and backwards facing passes. Alini able to keep this away from Sugasawa. Miura waiting to pounce. And it's clear quite how Japan plans to attack this Brazilian side. One with intense attacking pressure in their front three, but seemingly very little put together in the back. Right-footed blast. Small frame for Iwabuchi. Three years at Bayern Munich, just never got it going, Iwabuchi. Came back after dealing with a handful of injuries. And playing at Kobe Leonessa, one of the major clubs. This won't sneak in behind. This is Samashima for Ikeda. Samashima again, 2011 with the Boston Breakers before the NWSL. Foul short of the halfway line from Taisa. Rather, it's Dayani. And Japan has found some space here. Kunitaki. Taken away by Davinia. Stretching for Beatriz. Momiki, wonderful aerial ball over the back line and a chance. Rebound pops out and Alini is eventually fouled. Iwabuchi, a tremendous backdoor run. What a remarkable ball. Iwabuchi has been on a goal-scoring tear through the Asian Cup. Picked out by Momiki. What an entertaining first 10-plus minutes. It's the third match, the Tournament of Nations. Another long ball played, Yokoyama. Yokoyama knocks it wide. There's the service. Caught. Alini. Sugasawa was nearby. Iwabuchi, the effort. Joycey. Monica collects. Sumida for Shimizu. Clever turn, Dabinia, a foul. Mumiki trying to play through Sugasawa. Well, this is onside. Samishima. Necessary touch. Japan ranked 6th for whatever it's worth. Bit of a generational shift in this Japanese team over these last couple of years. Certainly new management can do that. Mumiki keeps the play going. Yokoyama got up high on Dayani. Yokoyama goes to check on the Brazilian center back. Dayani threw her leg out at that. It just simply rose too fast. Get out of the way of this. Back up and walking off the field. Bit of a staggered jaunt. I'll hope that she'll be able to return. One of the more experienced players on this Brazilian side. Currently plying her trade in Norway. Christina Uncle's the 4th official. Won't allow her back just yet. Well, it is a corner, and Dayani has returned. Alini barking out signals. It's a very compact Japanese side. The top of the 18 begins to make runs now. Mumiki clearing header. Deflected down, and now maybe a chance for Brazil to show off that creative offensive talent. Take it away, Iwabuchi. Quarter of an hour gone, scoreless between Japan and Brazil. This will outrun Sugasawa. One of those players that is back from the World Cup sides of years past. Came on as a substitute against the United States in their 5-2 loss, 2015 World Cup final. Sugasawa right around Mumiki. Intercepted en route to Thais. Tossed in by Joycey. Played long. Aikida right at the edge of the penalty area. Japan finding a lane. Alini will let this run out. Alini, a 4-year starter at UCF outside Orlando. Stopped playing altogether 2013. go coach at UCLA, but came back into the squad before the 2016 Olympics. Opportunity to represent her home country on home soil. Jumped at the opportunity. Did play one game in the Olympics. Hayani, it's already shown good service from this angle. Andresina, a poke. It did get out. There's Monica playing for Orlando since the expansion side started a couple years ago. Beatriz providing that initial pressure. Sakaguchi was fouled. Missed the ball entirely. It was that second effort along with Thais. Drew the referee's ire. Beatriz fouled. 6 goals, 5 starts at Copa America. Qualifying tournament for Brazil for both the World Cup and the Olympics in terms of major tournaments and the Pan American Games. Service toward Debinha. Hangs up for Samashima. Back pass. Launched away by Aikida. Well, Mumiki was there. Intercept the initial long ball. And now this played from distance wide by Yokoyama. Yokoyama in pursuit for 16th international goal. And Alini's had a fair bit of action out in front of her. In terms of her distribution, Japan trying to plug up those holes. Make this just a little more difficult. She does have to play long again. Marta, Beatriz. Trying to combine and intercepted by Miura. '21st minute between Japan and Brazil. A loser eliminated from the Tournament of Nations. You'll note none of the 4 teams from Europe. The idea largely conceived during the European Championships last year. Find better games. Sliding effort at the ball goes totally unimpeded. Kunitake sent it over the top. Tsugasawa took a swing. Oh, Brazil dangerously close. Tsugasawa seemed to catch more of the field than the player beside her, but made the referee have to make a decision from well behind the play. Maybe a chance for Brazil to flood forward. Joycey. Aikida. . When Brazil really clicks, it's difficult to describe the beauty that they can bring to the game. Large in part today, that hasn't entirely been the case. Ayani playing with Flamengo in Brazil. One of the lesser-known inclusions to this Brazilian roster. Well, this does find Shimizu. Will deflect a couple of times. Thaisa. Marta, a little help from the referee. Well, Marta taking her time. A leisurely stroll through gorgeous Connecticut. That's behind Debinha. Samashima off the mark there. Marta has dropped in, find more of the ball. Initially was playing as far forward as anybody on the Brazilian team in this formation. Daiane for Hayani. A one-on-one run as Sakaguchi chasing from behind. Beatriz. Ball fired across, nobody home. Well, Marta just a bit late to the party. Debinha as well. Well done by Hayani to get in behind all the way from that right back position. Hayani will stay elevated. 4 Brazilians making a horizontal line. But now they do reverse. Iwabuchi closed one lane. Brazil trying to go down the middle for Marta. Serve for Sugasawa. Brought it down. Thaisa shrugging off Iwabuchi. Hands outstretched, there's no foul there. Maybe this game has finally found a lower gear. Energy injected right into this game from the outset. With 26 minutes gone in a scoreless affair. Japan maybe a bit more patient than they've proven to be early. This has very much been a chess match. How about this run to the inside? It's the right back. Hayani sends a really teasing ball. Marta would just need to find a way to get a little flick on it to send it through Aikida. away from Thais. And then Jim Red at Angels in South Korea. One of a couple players on this roster who can say that. Beatriz and Thais both playing for the South Korean Giant. It's run amok through that league over the last half decade. Thaisa from Marta. Take it away. Joycey trying to get forward. Momiki. Sugasawa. The overlap came. Shimizu. Brazil disposed of the possession. Sugasawa debuting all the way back in 2012, playing from 3 years old. Has had a very enlightening day so far on the offensive end for Japan. Yokoyama, foul just outside the penalty area. Andresina's wagging a finger at the official. Let's see if Andresina is in the right here. I mean, this is tooth and nail all the way. Difficult to really say when that foul started and where it ended, which may well be telling of whether it's dubious or not. Momiki and Yokoyama are behind the ball. Very tight angle. Will be Yokoyama, who fires it out in front. Attempted header, gets deflected straight away. Crowd filling in nicely here. Over 20,000 anticipated for this doubleheader. Surely many United States fans getting an early look at potential opposition in the World Cup should they qualify. Debinha, great back heel, setting up Marta. Runners entering the area for Brazil. Marta puts on the moves. Marta fires the cross. Can Thaisa collect? Hayani. Still more for Brazil. Joycey! How about this from Brazil? First, Marta. You can say just how good she is, but until you see it, it's hard to believe. And then on the recycled ball, Joycey clipping the upper corner. Trouble brewing. Akita dispossessed. Oh, Marta and Debinha both closing in. And Japan avoids serious trouble. Both goalkeepers at times have struggled to distribute. You could easily argue both teams aren't using their first choice keepers. Barbara on the bench for Brazil. Japan started Ayaka Yamashita against the United States, but after conceding 4 times, finds herself on the bench. As the Japanese goalkeeping situation is difficult to quantify right now. Hayani. Wonderful work from Samashita. Miura dispossessed. Brazil arriving. And a slide keeps the ball away for a moment's time. This lining up. The shot, worm burns its way through. Taissa gotten up. I think there are a lot of French and world of football fans that would like to see these two teams match up in France in 2019 at some point along the way. These teams are on the same side of the bracket. 2015 in Canada, never did meet. Both teams ended up facing Australia along the way. Brazil bidding adieu to the tournament against the Matildas. Well, Japan faced them a bit further up the line, a one-goal win that ultimately led them all the way to the United States in the final. And what ended up being a fateful rematch. Flag is up. This is offside. Won't count for Sugasawa. Not that Alini had any other ideas. Look at her hold that run. Just didn't do it long enough. It was that one last step. Put her into an offside position. 13 in blue. Alini. Marta. Akita. Momiki. The overlap came. Shimizu fires it across. Just too high. Iwabuchi, the left winger. On a near collision course. Hayani, who's been a revelation at right back in this game. Very impressive. "35th minute of play between Japan and Brazil. Still scoreless. Debinha chasing. Both teams making a concerted effort to pressure the opposite's back line. Certainly empowered these front lines offensively. Make creative runs, find their way in behind. It's been a high-level caliber match to this point. Encouraging for both sides to be sure. But if there's a loser in this game, they're eliminated from contention and take home the trophy. The end of this week-and-a-half long tournament. Too far from Sugasawa. It's getting caught a bit. Sakaguchi. Turning and facing up. Yokoyama goes down. That is a foul. It is just 3-4 yards outside the penalty area. Well, Dayani trying to close down this central area. Taissa initially came in, and then Dayani, that last additional clip, sent Yokoyama to ground. Just sticking her leg out at this. Her frustration evident. Well, this is quite the collection of weapons available to Japan. 3 Japanese players have made their way over to the touchline to discuss with Asako Takakura, head coach. Momiki is standing behind the ball. Yokoyama is making her way forward too. All 5 Brazilians. The referee's already blown for play to begin again. Big moment potentially ahead for Alini, Brazilian goalkeeper. Yokoyama goes for goal off the crossbar, bouncing back and held by Alini. Did she get the touch on that necessary to keep it from dipping in? She was able to keep it in and away from the line. Remarkable stuff from Yokoyama, who both drew the foul and stepped up for the free kick. Best opportunity to be had by either side toward frame. With 38 minutes complete at Rentschler Field in Connecticut. Iwabuchi. Last 8 games, Japan has piled up 21 goals. It's over 2.5 a game. Oh, this is turned over to Debinha. That's way too easy. Debinha trying to lob. Hit it all wrong. Aikida had been backing in. Would have had a good chance at that regardless. Now that's the kind of play that gives nightmares to young Japanese goalkeepers. Carly Lloyd is about to make her way to Pratt & Whitney Stadium here. Surely nobody forgets that half-field goal in the World Cup final in 2015. Andressinha. Little 2-on-1 developing. Hayani sends it for Marta. Marta turns, shoots. Aikida, kick save. You would bet on Marta putting that home. Aikida closing up. Marta creating by her lonesome. Hayani again at right back, showing extraordinarily well. Her service has been on point, to say the least. Yokoyama did enough to keep this in play. Once reinforcements arrive. Hit over the top. Sugasawa sliding. Go wide of Alini. The direct balls in this game have been on point. Hayani from Marta. Ball from Marta gets clipped away. Samashima has been a saving grace for this Japanese defense. A left back the last World Cup cycle. Not as comfortable at center back, but it'd be nearly impossible to tell if you hadn't heard it from her own lips. Has looked entirely at ease. Central defense. Left center back guiding Japanese back four. After the winning sliding tackle, Samita recovers for Japan. Yokoyama, Iwabuchi. Sumida over the back line. Yokoyama threw her boot out at that and missed it entirely. So creative, so clever in this game. Little 1-2, everybody on the same page. Momiki couldn't sneak that through. Yokoyama was making a run. Ball for Iwabuchi was cut out. Iwabuchi has moved to a more central role while Yokoyama, who was playing there previous, has moved to the left wing. A deflection came tantalizingly close to Debinha. Aikido did start one game in the Asian Cup in goal against China. Choisey. 90 seconds left before opening half stoppage time. Momiki. Yokoyama. Iwabuchi sends it back. Yokoyama. Good bit of skill here. Yokoyama finally does pull the trigger. Marta. Hayani. Hello again. Wonderfully weighted. Marta waits, crosses. Misses Beatriz. Nikita did play in last year's Tournament of Nations, lost 4-2 to Australia, ended up being the inaugural tournament champion. Both teams allowed 6 substitutes in Tournament of Nations. Does make you wonder what changes, if any, either side will make. 1 minute of added time in this first half. Choisey has had her cleat slipped right off the back of her heel. Time in Spain. 30-year-old native of Sao Paulo. Hayani. Marta wasn't able to flick it toward the corner. Well, this one has hit all the right notes. Everything but a goal. Halftime whistle, Rentschler Field. Japan and Brazil coming out firing. Wide open game with some of the game's biggest stars on display in this Tournament of Nations. 2 of the top 10 teams on the planet playing to a largely level stat line. The score line would reflect. Halftime in East Hartford, Connecticut, game 1 of 2 in this Tournament of Nations match day 2. Japan 0, Brazil 0.